Welcome back, Mama, to our second ever Hinge workout. So once again, we're kind of working on that fundamental movement of folding over, pressing that button with our booties. Remember, that is our cue. We will be doing some movements on the ground with the help of a chair today, so make sure you have one handy. We will be going on our backs, but never fully. We're going to be just resting our shoulders on our back. We're not fully going on our back at any point, but just know that there will be that support, that gap, so as not to cause any risk. If you are still a little bit uncomfortable with that, I will be providing modifications, but there will be some floor work for today's course, so make sure you've got a chair without any wheels. And let's go ahead and get right on into it now that we've got that out of the way. Welcome back, HMC, to our second ever Hinge workout. For this workout, I would like you to have a chair, an ottoman, a bench nearby. As long as it doesn't have wheels, it's about knee height and you won't slip off it, that is perfect. In addition to that, as always, let's make sure we've got a hazard-free 3 to 5 feet of space around us, as well as that water nice and close. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's reach right on up. Great big breath in. Exhale, let's drop it down into some arm circles here. Great big arm circles, setting that intention for today, mobilizing our shoulders. Switching directions, let's take it backwards. Awesome. Next one, let's slow it down, reaching right on up and over with that right hand, stretching out those lats. One more breath here. Let's inhale, switching sides. Bring yourselves back to center. Go ahead, stepping forward with our left, planting our right heel with a straight leg. Hips are square. Pressing forward for a calf stretch. Really just feeling that gentle lengthening, no bouncing, no pain here. Inhale, let's rock so that our left foot is flexed and now our left foot is the straight leg. Pressing forward, stretching out that hamstring. See how far forward you can bend. On the next inhale, let's bring ourselves back up, switching sides. Right foot is forward, left heel is planted with a straight leg. Square off those hips. Perfect. Next inhale, let's rock ourselves so that foot is flexed, that leg is straight. Great, big inhale, bring yourself back up to center. And I would love for you to bring right leg up, out and down. Other side, hip openers. Getting a little bit more dynamic with our workouts here. All the way up, all the way out, all the way down. Just like we're climbing off of a bicycle seat. All right, now let's take it forward like we're climbing on. Perfect, almost there. Dropping it down, I want you to rise up onto those toes. And we're gonna march in place on our heels. If you've ever gotten shin splints, this is kind of a nice one to mobilize those ankle flexors. 30 more seconds of this, just mobilizing. Flexing those feet as hard as you can. All right, drop it down, shake it out. That one can feel kind of weird. It's not often that we engage those flexion muscles of our ankles. Kicking those butts a little bit, stretching out those quads. Dynamic stretch of those femoral extension muscles, hip flexors. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now that we're nice and warm, Mama, grab those weights, have a sip of water, and meet me right back here on the mat for our working sets. All right, welcome back, Mama. Let's get right into it. You'll be familiar with this movement from last week. We're going to start with some kettlebell swings. So just a refresher on setup. Hips are slightly wider than shoulder width apart. And we're gonna pretend like we're screwing our hips into the floor, engaging those legs. And we're gonna take our dumbbell, linking it in between our two fingers, shoulder blades back and down, and we're hugging baby up and in with a neutral spine. So if our pelvis was a cup of water, we are making sure it's not spilling. We're gonna bring that dumbbell back, squeezing through, swinging forward. Driving that booty all the way back like we're pushing a button on the wall. All the way out, closing that car door. All the way up, all the way down, hugging baby up and in. 3, 2, and 1. 30-second rest. Shake it off a little bit. Check in on where you're feeling it. Are you feeling it in the backs of your legs and your hamstrings? Are you feeling it in your booties? But are you feeling it in your lower back? We don't want that. If you're feeling it in your lower back, I want you to think about driving that booty backwards and really hugging baby up and in and working on that neutral spine. That should help engage the right spots. All right, back in set 2, bringing that dumbbell up, all the way back, pressing that button with our booties, going straight backwards. Squeeze, come forward. Remember to breathe, sending that oxygen into our working muscles. Two, and 1. Shake it out, walk it off, active rest. We're gonna walk around our space, walk in place, grab that water, check your phone real quick. That is totally fine. 30 seconds here. If this is a little bit too easy, I will show you a grip using 2 dumbbells, depending on the weight you're working with. Same kind of grip. We're gonna hold it like we're holding a wine glass goblet. A little claw moment here. Feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Screw those legs in. Shoulder blades back and down. Chest is proud. Baby is hugged up and in. Let's swing. Really controlled. Pressing that button with our booties. Remembering to breathe. We're so close. Set number 1, kettlebell swings. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop them down. We're gonna hold on to these dumbbells low. Grab that water, have a drink while I introduce the next movement. We're gonna be doing some single leg Romanian deadlifts. So Romanian deadlift means our legs are a little bit on the straighter side than if we were to be doing a classic traditional deadlift or pulling sumo. So the way we're gonna set this up, we're gonna start with our left leg forward. Use your right toe as a bit of a kickstand. Hugging baby up and in, neutral spine. Shoulder blades back and down. And our bar path is gonna go down in front of those shins. Then we're sending our booties backwards like we're pushing a button. And then all the way up, that's 1 rep. So now that we've got that set up, taken care of, let's go ahead all together. 1 leg at a time, starting with the left. Hugging baby up and in. We're making sure not to arch our back, but we're not rounding it either. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's switch. Other leg, right foot comes forward, left leg is our kickstand now. Dumbbells are gonna go down the path of our shin. Push that button with your booty, squeeze on the way up. Booty goes straight out, we're hugging baby up and in. Chest is nice and proud, you're almost there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Grab that water, 30-second rest, shake it out a little bit, and check in on where you felt that first set. Are we feeling it in our booties, our hamstrings? Are we feeling it a little bit in those lats? That's perfect, but nothing in the lower back. Setting ourselves back up, left leg comes forward. Right leg is our kickstand. Shoulder blades back and down. Bar path in front of that shin. And keep an eye on my chin. Notice how I'm looking about 6 feet in front of me on the floor. Embracing the double chin. Two, and 1. Let's switch sides, HMC. Right leg comes forward. All the way back. Really making sure we're driving that hip backwards. We're like a hinge on a door. We're like the spine of a book. Opening and closing. And 3, 2, and 1. Bring it up, shake it out. We've got one more set of these. Really make it count here. If it feels a little easy, let's play with that time under tension. Really move down with purpose. Pause at the bottom. Move up with purpose. All right, let's take that left leg, place it right back in front. Screwing that foot into the ground. Right leg's our kickstand. All the way down, squeezing through the top. That's 1 rep. All the way down, all the way up. Pressing through that heel. Chest is proud, hugging baby up and in. Don't let that back arch. 3, 2, and 1. HMC, let's switch legs. Right foot comes up, left leg now is our kickstand. All the way down, all the way up. Really squeezing through, we're pushing that button with our booties. All the way down, all the way up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop it down, shake it out, grab that water. We're really making sure that we're targeting our posterior chain right now. So much of pregnancy, so much of parenthood occurs anteriorly. So we want to make sure that we're addressing any imbalances and we're getting ahead on them where we can. Next up, for movement-wise, we're going to be working on a sumo deadlift. So that means those legs are going to go nice and wide. Toes are pointing out, just like a sumo wrestler. Making sure that our knees are always headed in the same direction as our toes. We're not turning them in, staying nice and proud. No valgus knee here. I'll show you the movement with 2 dumbbells. You're welcome to do it with 1. But same thing, let's hug baby up and in. Nice wide stance. Make sure we're not spilling that water in the cup that is our pelvis. Shoulder blades come back and down. Pinkies are gonna kind of twist towards each other. And that bar path is gonna go down, pushing that button with our booty, squeezing through our booties, all the way up. That's 1 rep. So down, booty goes straight out, up, chest is proud, chin is tucked, lengthening that posterior chain. All the way down, all the way out. Some people may find that a sumo deadlift is a little bit easier. That's because the displacement of the bar is that much less when we widen our stance, we shorten our height by a few inches. 2, hit that button with your booties. And 1. Drop those weights down. Walk it off, grab some quick water. Setting ourselves up for our next set. Now, what was easier about that set than our last one? Was the stance a little bit easier? Do we prefer our legs to be turned out a little bit? Check in with your body, see what works for you. Perfect, let's set ourselves back up. So I'm planting my feet, I'm screwing my legs into the floor. Chest is nice and proud. Shoulder blades are back and down. Pick up those weights. Squeezing through those booties. We're pushing the floor away from us here. All the way down and all the way up. Pressing all the way through, making sure we're not arching that back. I know it can be really, really tricky. 2 and 1. Drop those weights down. We've got one more set, mama. You can do this. Shaking it out, grabbing that water, taking a moment. We're already halfway there, so you're doing amazing. Stepping out nice and wide. Screw those feet into the floor. Shoulder blades go back and down. Hug baby up and in. Reaching down, let's deadlift. Booty goes all the way back. Hit that button. Close that car door. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop those weights down. Grab that water. Take a quick break while I introduce the next movement. Feel free to pause me if you need a little bit more time here. So this next movement, we're going to do a glute bridge. So this one can look a little bit intimidating, but we're just using our chair, our ottoman, our bench as a pivot point. The way that we're gonna set this up is we're gonna take things down to the floor, making sure our chair is nice and sturdy, it's not going anywhere. Sitting down in front of it here, and find just about where your bra line would be. And we're gonna go ahead and use that as our pivot point. And we're gonna screw those feet into the floor. This is where we'll really notice that neutral spine, so making sure we're hugging baby up and in. If I had a bowl of water on my belly right now, it would be spilling out the front, so let's level it off. Pressing through those feet, up, and that's 1 rep of our glute thrust. And we're gonna do 1 set with both feet to get familiar with the mechanics of the movement. And then we're gonna do 1 leg at a time. Hugging baby up and in. Really feeling it here in those booties. You see how I have a nice right angle at my knee there? That's gonna make sure that I'm focusing on engaging my glutes and not my quads here. 2 and 1, drop it down. Take that quick rest. I want you to check in on where you felt that. Did you feel it in your glutes and your hamstrings? Did you feel it in your quads? If you felt it mostly in your quads, really look at those feet. Try and aim for that right angle at full extension, and that should refocus things. And remember, we don't want to arch our legs. This isn't us just arching and unarching our back. We are driving through those glutes to work on that pelvic angle, work on our angle between our quadriceps and our torsos, not just a lumbar flexion here. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, let's set ourselves back up. Coming back up onto our chairs. And let's take our left leg, and I like to just cross it on top of the other leg, get it out of the way, and let's thrust. Really making sure that we're creating these glute bridges with a neutral spine, driving through those heels. This might require a little bit of focus. This might burn a little bit more. That is totally fine and totally normal. Just no pain. 2 and 1, drop it down. Let's switch sides. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop it down. Take that rest. Training our booties, training this hinge motion is going to be so key if you're experiencing low back pain, sciatic pain. It is a really great way to help alleviate and address some of those issues there, as long as you've got that approval from your doctor, of course. All right, now that we've got that through that rest, let's do one more set of these single leg ones. Then we'll go ahead and cool things down together. Setting ourselves back up, putting that chair, that pivot point right at about our bra line. Let's go left leg first, cross the leg up and over. Make sure those hips are square. Nice neutral spine, hug baby up and in. Bring ourselves up to that nice right angle. We have our protractors, they're perfect. That's 2 reps there. Really thinking about the hinges on a door here. That really helps me visualize the perfect form to this movement. 2, and 1. Drop it down. Let's switch sides. All the way down, all the way up. Really making sure we're breathing through these. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop it down. Mama, that was amazing. Go ahead, grab that water, take a quick break. You're gonna meet me right back here on the mat for a cool down. All right, you've made it. We are gonna cool things down now, starting off with a really lovely hamstring stretch. Let's take our left leg, bringing it out in front of us, and let's fold forward. If our body isn't really conducive to folding directly forward, just lean to the side. Decrease that angle between your torso and your quad. Feeling that lengthening, that stretch along the back part of our legs. Bring ourselves to center. Let's switch sides. Right leg comes out. Folding forward. Hanging out here for 3 breaths. Stretching out those hips. Let's bring those feet together. Fold forward as far as your body will allow. More breaths here. Perfect. HMC, let's go ahead. Let's cross our right leg over our left, twisting across. Bring yourself back to center, left over right. Tucking that leg in, twisting to the left. Awesome. Bring yourself back to center. I want you to bring yourself to a lunging position. Right leg forward first, left leg back, leaning forward, stretching out those hip flexors. Two, 1, rock back. We're going to stretch that hamstring a little bit more. Awesome. Let's go ahead, switching sides, lunging forward on that left leg. All right, great big inhale, come back. Leaning forward, stretching out that hamstring a little bit more. Bring ourselves back up to center. Reaching forward with that right leg. Or your foot is going to go parallel with your screen. Pigeon pose, feeling it right down those glute medius. Awesome. Let's go ahead, bring ourselves back to center. Other leg comes across. Awesome. Bring ourselves back to center. And one last time with me, Mama. I want you to breathe right on in. Great big shoulder rolls. And thank you so much for joining me. This has been our second ever Hinge workout. Have a great rest of your day.